Okay. Yeah, 1 AR from Camp Tournament. The debate was against Pablo Gannon and Michael Hoffman. Order is topicality. Plan has to include a interaction between a social worker and the person in poverty. So topicality, solvency, civic engagement, bioterrorism, coercion, politics. So we read Broadband AF with civic engagement, bioterror, and agroterror. In the 1AC, the politics to set is climate bill good. Get off my mute. Don't respond right now. Okay. Ready?
Top calorie, we're just go for the UNESCO evidence they continue to see. It is the best evidence around. Talks about the United Nations, United Nations source. They go to limits debate. They say they provide a limit. They don't have a limit. They just find social worker. They just find that has to use a social worker, and social service means that anything with social worker is a app. The topic is already large. So they say that there's a cop version of harass, and that doesn't solve the app, doesn't solve perception or bioterrorism because it's just educate people on how to use the internet. That means then there's no literature for that app. They say that our limits are bad, but we provide cases for roads, garbage, and electricity communications. They say our interpretation gives a bright line, but it's not true. Our interpretation gives a case UNESCO is the best from the United Nations. They say that it restricts the topic, but we provide clear standards for the topic. They say the best education to telemedicine is the best education from rounds, which tracks away from state first politics because there's no federal key warrant for and see literature abuse and clash speech means there's no internet abuse and the UNESCO evidence is in the government context of poverty which means you preferred over their interpretation. They say competing interpretation is best, but we provide competing interpretations which raise the bottom. They always find arbitrary limiting firm as long as the reason is topical. You don't vote us down. Go to solvency first. They say Robert have not their evidence in context of urban narrows not lawyers plan to keep solving and he will need lifelong link to get problems because it gives us this is status quo. The app is better. The app is better than the status quo to give lifelong link. They say that's a voter, but lifelong link was enough change for this quote not to be voted. They can't and they extend there's nuclear war. These nuclear war won't happen. Cards we can't predict bioterrorists, attacks, terrorists, rational actors. They don't means they don't abide by realism because they aren't part of one nation state. Goes to engagement first. The internet is key to civic engagement. Gets people engaged with other people. Rural areas activated. Won't be active in democracy. Fourth, a new rally rise of solves the impact of coercion. Go to terrorism flow first. They say that there will be no overflow, but the information technology increase prevents the collapse and increasing telecommunications also solves that. Skip faster broadband and telemedicine. And they say there's not enough nurses, but telemedicine increase the amount of nurses we get because there will be more on site. Because telemedicine increase telemedicine centers means and increase jobs. They say that we can't solve a bioterror. That bioterror attack is overhyping. Will come to evidence is excellent on this. There's two specific laboratories. Bioterrorists can steal weapons from the attack called by 2013 because terrorists are hiring scientists now. Go to coercion flow first. First extend the utilitarian debate. That util comes first. Always there's always life before you die because life is a prerequisite value to life means that any risk of life means you vote for him because the affirmative saves most lives. Bioterror ways warming have faster time frame. These taxes aren't coercive. It's link turn or at best a link take. Uniqueness and we solve the impact of coercion because post plan we prevent the far right from rising. It means we protect people's rights even more because get everybody engaged in government. America's found on democracy means everybody is engaged and prevent coercion in the long term. Just because the plan might be unethical in this one instance doesn't mean you vote us down because we solve future instances of coercion. Means the plan is infinitely better than the status quo. She says it's a question of ethics, but the squo is worse than post plan. In future generations, even if one generation is bad, you still vote after because the squo and will win. They were just more ethical because you save more lives. Any risk of value life means you vote affirmative. Cross-sex is damning on this. He says that they would let everybody die rather than doing the affirmative acts. Just not sure. He says permutation seventh, but there we won't advocate permutation because it was no alternative on the plan. It was to make sure that the block didn't morph to decide into floating take. Go to politics first. We outweigh there's no time for warning. A bioterrorist attack will happen by 2013 and spread within days. There are Ox evidence to tell it. It's absolutely fantastic on this. Terrorists are getting scientists now. They have materials from laboratories and go to Limelight first. Sending McCain link. Turn the McCain is moderate Republican. He's flag bearer for Republicans on issues such as social service. They only read one link card that is not specific to broadband. We're way ahead on the link debate. McCain's key to Obama's agenda because he's key to getting other Republicans on board to pass the climate bill because McCain supports plan because he wants more national security and he wants more people to get rural areas because moderate Republican and their own unique evidence says that McCain is voting for the plan means we have uniqueness for our Senator specific link straight turn the decide for our better link analysis. Go to unique debate. There's stiff opposition to Republicans won't switch sides of climate bills only. McCain is key because Republicans hate climate bills because they hate restriction on companies. Moderate Democrats are supporting companies won't switch sides either because of harsh party lines and traditions. They just don't want to switch sides and their evidence is horrible on the link debate. They just read links to social services, not broadband, and they don't even have a vote count, which means for our evidence. And he concedes warming that it takes forever to tell evidence is better on the question of time frame.